Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to a series I'm calling 6,000 Games Better Than This. This is where I'm going to go to Board Game Geek, which is the #1 website about board games, and I'm going to take a look at games that are ranked 6,001 and below. We're just going to go through them 100 games at a time. And I'm going to look at not every game on those, I'm just going to look at some of them. So let's get started right here. We're at 6,001, and we'll just go through these games. I played many of these different games, and you can see I've rated many of them on the side. Some of them truly aren't great, but some of them are, and I don't know that they all deserve to be here. So we'll start with Ducks in Tow. Ducks in Tow is a really cute little game here in which you have this little park, and then you are going to be straggling along. You have these little pieces with these ducks following you. Now, Ducks in Tow isn't anything fantastic compared to other games. It's a pretty simple game. You're just collecting food, going around and getting ducks. But it's fun. It's a nice, enjoyable, light little game. Laser Riders. This is a game in which you are basically playing Tron. So let me see if I can find a picture here. Look at this. You're just moving around and making these paths and trying to cut off other people. That's all this game is. It comes in a VHS cassette, and I really like this. It's just kind of fun, silly style game. I gave it a 7. And then we got a Sherlock Holmes 4 Investigations. This is one of those kids, these graphic novels you play together. Wander the Cult of Barnacle Bay. So this one here, which looks like a CMON game, and it's made by some folks who used to work at CMON, and you're going through and fighting shark bears. That's one of the things I always remember about this game. It's that kind of game. If you want to play through and just, I'm going to go kill stuff, this one works well. Gladius. This is another one that I kind of like this game. You're betting on these gladiators here. And so you'll see these different gladiators and you'll play cards on them and make them better or not. Me and my kids really enjoyed the fact that one of the gladiators is like Bob, just the guy in a loincloth. And you're like, well, he's probably going to lose. But we all bet our money on him and we all tried to make him win as hard as we can. There's a lot of games that do this, but this one does it with fun, nice artwork, and I enjoy it. 7 out of 10. All right, there's this Mammoth game is one I never actually played from Queen. Sunken City. Now, this is an old-style game. You probably haven't seen this one before from Uberplay. So Uberplay, this company, which it says ceased operations in 2008. Uberplay, they made a bunch of games for families, and this one in particular, you can see these big buildings, and you kind of move them around. It's a little abstract, kind of ahead of its time in the production values, but the game itself is just missing something to keep it going, so I've given it a 6.5. There's Iberian Rails and the Rails games. Down in Flames, Aces High. Let's see, Loop Incorporated. So Loop Incorporated, travel back in time and Risk Paradox Expand Your Time Travel franchise. Well, sort of. You're going to be doing actions and sending out a time machine and collecting components to go back. And that's the theming of it here. And there's some neat ideas in this. You're moving around and training and different things. It's been a while since I played Loop Incorporated. Wow, this is from Scott Alms. It's been a bit since I played this one from Eagle Griffin. I wonder if I would still give it a 7 today. That one's... Santiano. So this game here is from the folks, Repos, who made Cash and Guns. And I thought this would be like the next Cash and Guns. And it's like, you have these pirate ships and you're moving around and, the artwork is, the artwork's the artwork. And there's just so much chaos and you have to get up and actually move around the table. It just did not work as well as I'd like it to. Explore the Woodlands. I'd like to see this game. Do we have this one? Oh, yeah. I've seen pictures of this one. I just haven't played this one. I think it's like for kids. I should get around to trying this one out. Gen 7, a Crossroads game. So Plaid Hat's made a lot of Crossroads games. This one is probably their worst. And worst isn't necessarily bad here. But it's like you're on this spaceship that's going across the galaxy and there's 7 generations. And you're in the middle generations and things start going wrong. And that sounds really cool, but the gameplay wasn't as strong as I wanted it to be. Bring Out Your Dead was a game that Upper Deck tried to make something. They were like, this is going to be the next big thing. And it wasn't. It has some good artwork in it. And there's some interesting ideas. You're moving around the board. Let me find a picture of the board here. And you're burying people in these graves. It's kind of a macabre type theme, but it's there. Then we'll jump down here to Yak. Yakety yak, don't talk back. Yak is one I think doesn't deserve to be this high. This is from Pretzel Games, and Pretzel Games makes a lot of stuff. This one, you're simply moving around these yaks. This is the very definition of overproduction. As these yaks, you just move them around, and then you're pulling stuff on and off these carts, and that's the whole game. And it's really not that interesting at all. Then we have Skyline. I remember Skyline. Skyline is from Tasty Minstrel and was a little game that they put into their bigger game, the Office one. And this is not that interesting at all. There's some dice ideas, and you're rolling these dice and building skyscrapers, and that sounds good. Did not like it. 4 out of 10. Little Devils. This one's been a while since I played this one. And you have all these different cards. Ooh, so I believe, if I remember correctly, that Little Devils is a trick-taking style game. You want to give your opponents negative points. Yeah. You don't have to follow Trump. You can play higher or lower. The second card determines the goal. Yeah, it was okay. That's why I gave it a 6. Zeus on the Loose. With a name like that, how can you go bad? This is from Game Right Games. And in this one, you're just making numbers higher and stuff. It's like a kid-style game. I did not particularly care for it, which is why I gave it a 5. On the Rocks. Now, this game kind of fell off the radar here. I remember when this game came out. This is one of those ones where it's a Kickstart. It looks amazing. It's a little too simple, I think, for a lot of people. But, I mean, it looks cool, right? You're taking these marbles, putting them in there to build different drinks. This is almost a game that could be sold at Target. It's light, but I found it to be fun. Pirate Billiards. This is a very expensive game. You can buy this on eBay if you want to. And this is what the game is. Look at that board. And you are simply hitting underneath the board and bouncing the balls in. This is very popular. We have it up at Dice Tower East, and people are playing it the whole time. Blink. So Blink is, oh man, it's been a long time. The 2-minute long 2-player card game. You just match colors and stuff in the middle. It's like super fast Uno. How is it this high? This game is not good. Let's see, I haven't played Pauper's Ladder. Bus is one of the little pack of games ones I haven't played. But now we're at Fairy Trails. So Fairy Trails is a game from Uwe Rosenberg. So it's an interesting 2-player game where you're connecting these lines. You ever think about the roads in Carcassonne and you want that on steroids? That's what this is. Look at all those different connections and things you're trying to build and connect to these gems. Dungeon Rush. Slap the monsters with bare hands. Your adventure is going through a dungeon. There's 3 different levels, and you're going to slap the cards, one on both. Now, if you don't like slapping games, which people like Z do not, you're going to hate this one. But if you'd like that, it might be a fine dungeon crawl game. Battle Chaos is our next game here. This was Fangs and Swords. This has some interesting things. This is one of those ideas I've always had. Vicious Fish is a game I designed, not a very good game. I got this kind of idea, like you're putting tiles down and then the different soldiers face different ways. This is one I think doesn't age well. Game of Thrones Oathbreaker. This is one of Direwolf's games that has not done as well. I enjoyed this one a lot, although I have kind of, cooled on social deduction games. But that's basically what this one is, a Game of Thrones one. And then Kami-sama, this is another game I've cooled on a bit from Colossal Games. Kami-sama, you've all these, it's a village, and basically the whole conceit of this game is you're working on the board in front of you, playing cards to do that, and then the board's going to rotate. That's kind of interesting, but nothing that keeps me coming back. Moving down here, Dice Manor is a Dice Tower Essential. How is that one? Less than 6,000. Well, because not a lot of people know about it, but it is a fun game of which you're rolling dice, and you are building this manor. You're using dice to kind of bid on things. You build this manor and then move through it. So I like this one a lot, obviously. I have a high rating here for it. Check it out. Then Rule the Realm. Let's see if I can remember this one here. Oh, Rule the Realm this is a weird one. You can get this on Amazon. You're just connecting rubber bands around. That's what it is. Or they're like little hair ties. And you're trying to score points by various ways and control different areas. It's a pretty clever game. I have it in the Dice Tower library. Then we have, Let's Make a Bus Route, the dice game. Well, I never heard of that one. Croak. This is kind of an abstract strategy game where you move frogs. Oh, there's so much luck in this game. Cool frogs, but that's about it. Stratego Revised Edition, huh? There's Bobby Lee, the Civil War in Virginia. I've always liked the name of that game. Warhammer 40K 6th Edition. That's ranked pretty low. Run. Run does not deserve to be less than this. Run is a great two-player back and forth style game. It's kind of like Scott and Yard, but for two players. Really like this one. Star Trek The Adventure Game. That one's looking there. Yahtzee Free For All. This is one of the best Yahtzees other than the terrible box. It opens like this with the rules on it. I don't like that part of it. But it's Yahtzee with objectives, and I think that's fun. Also has some nice components other than that terrible box. Dice Kingdoms of Valeria. I guess that's one I haven't played. Space Invaders. So Space Invaders is a re-implementation of Flip Ships from King Klenko. Now they just added Space Invaders because it always was Space Invaders. So this is a dexterity game, but if you like dexterity games and you like Space Invaders, you should give this one a whirl. Let's see here. Buy Low, Sell High. I never did play this one. Was actually the Motley Fool's Buy Low, Sell High from Reiner Knizia. Fires of Eidolon. Ooh, that cover ain't great. Ooh, maybe we should put this on our worst covers of all time thing. They try to make it look like a video game. I don't remember that terrible cover. Yeah, it's okay. You're moving through doing dungeony stuff. There's a lot of these games out there. This one just missed out on it, I think. Disc Duelers. So Disc Duelers is set in the level 99 universe or whatever their stuff is, where all their characters are. And you have people flicking discs, but then all the things have special powers, as level 99 does. This is one of those ones that really just appealed to me. There was something about the silliness of this game that I enjoyed a lot. So that's why I gave it a 7. Not a whole lot of the other one here. Dreadball sounds good. Another Ace of Aces. Here's Age of Gods. I don't remember anything about this one from Asmodee. It looks terrible. Well, I must have played it because I rated it. Who cares? Blazon. This one came out last year, and I love the idea of this one. As you're building your heraldry and you're adding different colors, and that's all cool, but the game itself is so dreadfully boring. Great theme, but bad implementation. Longboard is a game from Reiner Knizia from 25th Century, where you're just kind of building cards in different runs and different colors and trying to make a cool surfboard. If you like cards where you're trying to build that ascending thing, you'll enjoy it. Shaky Manor is a kid-style game where you're trying to get certain pieces in a specific room by just shaking the board around. That's the whole game. You'll like it or not. Freight Train Callisto, the game Razzia. So Razzia is a card. This is Sophia Wagner. And this is this is the different one that I was thinking of. The pantries are overflowing with food. So you as the rats are trying to collect that food and get it to the right person with dice. Sophia Wagner is a very underrated designer. Elfin Roads. I've not played this specific game, but Elfin Roads is the precursor to Elfin Lands. And you can see that here. This looks like an old style game. Elfin Lands did win the Spiel des Jahres, though. Time's Up Kids I've not played. Visitor and Blackwood Grove. So this one here is one of those ones where you're communicating with other people. This is from Mary Flanagan and Max Seldman. And a lot of their games have not landed for me, although their most recent game, I think, is one of their best ones. And this idea of alien communicating with people is a good one. It just missed out in this particular game for me. WWE Superstar Showdown. Man, I don't remember almost anything about this game. I remember playing it, a wrestling game, but I remember it. That's about all I can tell you. It's wrestling. Spellbound. I did not particularly like this game from Fragger Games. I think this might have been their last game. So if you never heard of Fragger Games, before it was cool, they made oversized, gigantic games. Their name comes from Frazier and Gordon. They combined them. And their best-known game is Snowtails, which other companies have picked up and done. But they would just have these over-the-top deluxe versions of games that usually came with the little ornaments. This was so over-the-top, their last game, but it wasn't great. see, Adventure Time Flux, Dead Ball. Many of these games here I have not played. The Stygian Societies, I feel like I played that as a preview. Did I? Did we play this as a Dice Tower playthrough? No, I guess that was just Mike who did that. Well, maybe someday. Probably not. Ultimate Werewolf Legacy. I never got around to playing this one. I know Roy played through it with his group of people, so you'll have to ask him about that one. Spurs. I just talked about Spurs. This is a game that's very similar in many ways to, it's the Western Legends. It kind of came out before Western Legends, a sandbox game with all these things you can do. Just really terrible components, unfortunately. You're pulling these bullet tokens from a bag. There's a lot of cool ideas in this game, but it was just the components weren't up to snuff. And then Go Nuts. This is a game right game, and I believe you're just rolling dice and matching squirrels. And yeah, they just wanted to make a game that said Go Nuts. So there you have it, folks. So when we look at that, that is the first 100 games in this series. Are they all good? Well, probably not. But are some of them good? Indeed. So of the 100 that I talked about today, which ones do you think are worth pointing out? Let me know in the comments. Like, what do these games are fantastic? Which one here is the best of the lot? For me, the best of all the games here today, I want to say Dice Manor, but that's the Dice Tower Essentials. So I'll say Pirate Billiards, just because it's given people so much joy at Dice Tower conventions. Anyway, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching 6,000 Games Better Than These on the Dice Tower. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.